In the quiet corners of libraries, in the solitude of late-night contemplation, and in moments of profound silence, there exists a unique breed of individuals whose minds operate on wavelengths different from the general population. These are the deep thinkers, the contemplative souls who navigate life through layers of meaning, complexity, and introspection that others might never consider. Understanding the psychology of deep thinkers requires us to venture into the intricate landscape of human consciousness, where thought patterns interweave with emotional experiences to create a rich tapestry of mental life that is both beautiful and challenging. Deep thinking is not merely about intelligence, though the two are often conflated in popular understanding. While intelligence might measure one's ability to process information quickly or solve problems efficiently, deep thinking represents a fundamentally different approach to engaging with the world. It is characterized by a tendency to probe beneath surface appearances, to question assumptions that others take for granted, and to explore the interconnected nature of ideas, emotions, and experiences. Deep thinkers are the individuals who pause at sunsets, not just to appreciate their beauty, but to contemplate the cosmic forces that created such a moment. The temporary nature of all beauty, and perhaps the philosophical implications of their own ability to perceive and appreciate such phenomena. The neurological foundation of deep thinking reveals fascinating insights into how these individuals' brains function differently. Research in neuroscience has shown that deep thinkers often exhibit heightened activity in the default mode network, a collection of brain regions that become active during rest and introspection. This network, which includes the medial prefrontal cortex, posterior cingulate cortex, and angular gyrus, is responsible for self-referential thinking, moral reasoning, and the ability to consider multiple perspectives simultaneously. When deep thinkers appear to be daydreaming or lost in thought, their brains are actually engaged in complex processes of integration, connecting disparate pieces of information and exploring potential relationships between seemingly unrelated concepts. The prefrontal cortex, often called the executive center of the brain, plays a crucial role in the deep thinker's mental landscape. This region is responsible for abstract thinking, planning, and the ability to hold multiple variables in mind simultaneously. Deep thinkers tend to have enhanced connectivity between the prefrontal cortex and other brain regions, allowing for more sophisticated analysis and synthesis of information. This enhanced connectivity comes with both benefits and challenges, as it enables profound insights, but can also lead to analysis paralysis and difficulty in making quick decisions. One of the most distinctive characteristics of deep thinkers is their relationship with time. While others might experience time as a linear progression from one moment to the next, deep thinkers often exist in what could be described as an expanded present moment. They have the ability to stretch single thoughts or observations into extended periods of exploration, diving deep into implications and ramifications that might take hours to fully examine. This temporal expansion can be both a gift and a burden. On one hand, it allows for profound insights and creative breakthroughs that might never occur to those who move quickly from thought to thought. On the other hand, it can make deep thinkers appear slow to respond in conversations or out of sync with the rapid pace of modern life. The emotional landscape of deep thinkers is particularly complex and deserves careful examination. These individuals often experience what psychologists term emotional depth, which goes beyond simple happiness or sadness to encompass a rich spectrum of nuanced feelings. They might feel profound melancholy while simultaneously experiencing gratitude, or find themselves moved to tears by abstract concepts like justice or beauty. This emotional complexity stems partly from their tendency to consider multiple perspectives simultaneously, which can lead to internal conflicts as they empathize with opposing viewpoints or grapple with moral ambiguities that others might resolve more simply. Empathy plays a central role in the deep thinker's psychological makeup, but it is not the superficial empathy of social politeness. Instead, deep thinkers often experience what could be called cognitive empathy, the ability to understand and feel the emotions of others on a profound level. They might find themselves deeply affected by stories of strangers, moved by historical injustices, or overwhelmed by the collective suffering they perceive in the world. This heightened empathy can be emotionally exhausting, as deep thinkers often carry the weight of not just their own experiences, but the imagined experiences of countless others. The social dynamics surrounding deep thinkers present unique challenges and opportunities. In social settings, these individuals might appear quiet or withdrawn, not because they lack interest in others, but because they are processing multiple layers of social interaction simultaneously. While others engage in surface-level conversation, deep thinkers might be contemplating the underlying motivations of speakers, the cultural context of the discussion, or the philosophical implications of seemingly casual statements. This multi-layered processing can make them excellent listeners and advisors, as they often see patterns and connections that others miss. However, it can also make them feel isolated or misunderstood, as their contributions to conversations might seem overly complex or tangential to others. The concept of existential thinking is fundamental to understanding deep thinkers' psychology. These individuals are naturally drawn to questions about meaning, purpose, and the nature of existence itself. While others might go through life without seriously questioning why they are here or what their purpose might be, deep thinkers grapple with these questions regularly, sometimes to an uncomfortable degree. This existential focus can lead to profound insights about life and human nature, but it can also result in periods of existential anxiety, or what some philosophers call existential dread. The uncomfortable awareness of one's mortality and the apparent meaninglessness of existence. The relationship between deep thinking and creativity is intricate and multifaceted. Deep thinkers often exhibit high levels of creativity, but their creative process differs significantly from those who generate ideas quickly and move on. Instead of rapid ideation, deep thinkers tend toward what could be called vertical creativity, taking single ideas and exploring them exhaustively, finding connections and implications that might not be immediately obvious. This approach can lead to truly innovative breakthroughs, as deep thinkers are willing to spend the time necessary to fully develop and refine their ideas. Memory functions differently in deep thinkers as well. Rather than simply storing information for later retrieval, they tend to integrate new information into complex mental models of reality. Each new piece of information is examined for its relationships to existing knowledge, its implications for understanding, and its potential to modify or expand their worldview. This integrative approach to memory means that deep thinkers might remember fewer factual details than others, but they possess a richer understanding of the relationships between concepts and ideas. The challenge of decision-making represents one of the most significant struggles for deep thinkers. Their ability to see multiple perspectives and consider numerous variables simultaneously, while valuable for understanding complex situations, can make it extremely difficult to choose between options. They might spend hours contemplating a simple decision, considering not just the immediate consequences, but also the long-term implications, the moral dimensions, and the potential effects on others. This thorough consideration can lead to better decisions in complex situations, but it can also result in missed opportunities when quick action is required. Sleep and dream patterns in deep thinkers often reflect their waking mental processes. Many report vivid, complex dreams that continue the work of integration and exploration that occupies their waking hours. They might find solutions to problems in their dreams, or wake up with new insights about issues they have been contemplating. However, they also frequently experience difficulty turning off their minds at bedtime, as the constant stream of thoughts and connections can make it challenging to achieve the mental quiet necessary for sleep. The educational experiences of deep thinkers often reveal interesting patterns. In traditional educational settings, they might struggle with standardized testing or rote memorization, not because they lack intelligence, but because their minds naturally seek to explore and question, rather than simply absorb and regurgitate information. They often excel in essay-based assessments or open-ended projects that allow them to demonstrate their ability to synthesize information and explore complex relationships between ideas. Physical manifestations of deep thinking can include what others might perceive as fidgeting or restlessness, but which actually represent the body's attempt to process the intense mental activity occurring within. Deep thinkers might pace while thinking, doodle during conversations, or engage in repetitive movements that help them maintain focus during periods of intense contemplation. These physical behaviors are not distractions, but rather integral parts of their thinking process. The relationship between deep thinking and mental health is complex and requires careful consideration. While deep thinking can lead to profound insights and creative breakthroughs, it can also increase vulnerability to certain mental health challenges. The tendency toward rumination, while potentially productive for problem-solving, can become problematic when applied to personal problems or negative experiences. Deep thinkers might find themselves caught in cycles of overanalysis that prevent them from taking action or moving forward from difficult experiences. Anxiety often presents differently in deep thinkers compared to the general population. Rather than experiencing anxiety about specific concrete threats, they might experience what could be termed existential anxiety. Worry about abstract concepts like meaning, mortality, or the nature of reality itself. This type of anxiety can be particularly challenging to address because it does not have clear, actionable solutions like more concrete fears might have. The concept of authenticity holds special significance for deep thinkers. Their tendency towards self-reflection and questioning means they are often acutely aware of inconsistencies between their values and their actions, between their public personas and their private thoughts. This awareness can lead to a strong drive toward authenticity, but it can also result in feelings of hypocrisy or self-criticism when they fall short of their own ideals. Relationships present unique challenges and rewards for deep thinkers. On one hand, their capacity for empathy, understanding, and meaningful conversation can make them exceptional partners and friends. They often form deep, lasting connections with others and are valued for their ability to listen and provide thoughtful advice. On the other hand, their need for depth and meaning in relationships can make casual social interactions feel unsatisfying or draining. They might prefer a few close relationships over many superficial ones, and they often struggle with small talk or social situations that prioritize breadth of interaction over depth of connection. The phenomenon of overthinking, while often viewed negatively in popular psychology, takes on different dimensions when examined in the context of deep thinkers. What others might label as overthinking might actually be appropriate thinking for complex situations. The challenge lies in distinguishing between productive deep thinking and rumination that leads nowhere. Deep thinkers often struggle with this distinction themselves, as the line between thorough analysis and paralysis by analysis can be difficult to identify. Communication styles of deep thinkers often reflect their internal processes. They might speak slowly, taking time to choose their words carefully, or they might remain silent in conversations while processing multiple layers of meaning. When they do speak, their contributions might seem to come from unexpected directions or address aspects of the topic that others had not considered. This communication style can be valuable in problem-solving situations, but might be misunderstood in more casual social contexts. The role of intuition in deep thinking is particularly interesting. While deep thinkers are often associated with analytical, logical thinking, many actually rely heavily on intuition as a guide for their deeper explorations. They might have strong intuitive reactions to situations or people that they then explore analytically to understand the source of their feelings. This combination of intuition and analysis can lead to insights that neither approach might achieve alone. Seasonal and environmental factors often affect deep thinkers more profoundly than others. Changes in weather, lighting, or surroundings can significantly impact their thinking processes and emotional states. Many report feeling more contemplative during certain seasons or times of day, and they often seek out environments that support their need for reflection and introspection. The challenge of living in a fast-paced world presents ongoing difficulties for deep thinkers. Modern society often rewards quick decision-making, rapid responses, and the ability to multitask effectively. Deep thinkers, with their preference for thorough consideration and single-focused attention, might feel out of place in environments that prioritize speed over depth. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy, or the sense that they are somehow defective for not being able to keep up with the pace of contemporary life. As we reach the midpoint of our exploration into the psychology of deep thinkers, it becomes clear that these individuals represent a unique and valuable segment of the human population. Their ability to see beyond surface appearances, to question assumptions, and to explore the deeper implications of ideas and experiences contribute significantly to human understanding and progress. However, their psychological makeup also presents challenges that require understanding and support from both the individuals themselves and the society in which they live. The complexity of their inner lives creates ripple effects that extend far beyond their personal experiences, influencing their professional choices, creative endeavors, and contributions to society as a whole. Professional life presents a unique set of challenges and opportunities for deep thinkers. In work environments that prioritize quick decisions and immediate results, they might initially struggle to find their place. However, when given roles that allow for thorough analysis and long-term planning, deep thinkers often excel beyond expectations. They bring a level of consideration and foresight to their work that can prevent costly mistakes and lead to innovative solutions. Their ability to see connections between seemingly unrelated aspects of a problem makes them valuable in fields requiring systems thinking, strategic planning, or complex problem-solving. The entrepreneurial journey of deep thinkers often follows a different trajectory than their more action-oriented counterparts. While they might be slower to launch ventures due to their tendency to thoroughly analyze all aspects of a business idea, when they do move forward, their ventures often have solid foundations and well-considered strategies. They tend to build businesses that align with their values and serve deeper purposes beyond simple profit generation. Though this alignment sometimes comes at the cost of rapid growth or maximum financial returns, research and academic environments often provide natural homes for deep thinkers, where their tendencies toward thorough investigation and questioning are not only welcomed, but rewarded. However, even in these settings, they might struggle with the pressure to publish quickly or the need to narrow their focus to specific subspecialties. Their natural inclination is often toward interdisciplinary thinking, which can be challenging in academic systems that reward deep expertise in narrow fields. The phenomenon of imposter syndrome affects deep thinkers in particularly complex ways. Their tendency toward self-reflection and questioning can lead them to doubt their own expertise, even when they possess substantial knowledge and insight. They might undervalue their contributions because they are aware of how much they do not know, while others with less self-awareness might express confidence despite having more limited understanding. This dynamic can result in deep thinkers being overlooked for opportunities or failing to advocate effectively for themselves in professional settings. Parenting styles among deep thinkers tend to emphasize questioning, exploration, and the development of critical thinking skills in their children. They often encourage their children to ask why and to think beyond surface explanations. However, they might also struggle with the practical aspects of parenting that require quick decisions or the enforcement of rules without extensive explanation. Their children often benefit from exposure to complex ideas and sophisticated reasoning at early ages, but they might also feel pressure to match their parents' level of contemplation and analysis. The relationship between deep thinking and leadership presents interesting paradoxes. While deep thinkers possess many qualities that could make them effective leaders, such as the ability to see multiple perspectives, consider long-term consequences, and understand complex systems, they might struggle with the decisiveness and quick action often expected of leaders. However, when they do assume leadership roles, they often create environments that encourage innovation, careful consideration, and ethical decision-making. Technology and digital media present both opportunities and challenges for deep thinkers in contemporary society. On one hand, the Internet provides unprecedented access to information and ideas, allowing deep thinkers to explore topics in greater depth than ever before. Online communities can connect them with like-minded individuals who share their interests in complex topics and philosophical discussions. On the other hand, the rapid pace of digital communication and the constant stream of information can be overwhelming for individuals who prefer to process information thoroughly rather than quickly. Social media platforms, designed for quick interactions and immediate responses, often feel unsatisfying or stressful to deep thinkers. The pressure to respond quickly to messages or posts conflicts with their natural inclination to consider their words carefully. They might find themselves either avoiding social media altogether or feeling inadequate when they cannot keep up with the rapid pace of online conversations. The concept of mindfulness and meditation takes on special significance for deep thinkers. While these practices are beneficial for most people, they can be particularly valuable for individuals whose minds are constantly active and analytical. However, deep thinkers might initially struggle with traditional meditation instructions to clear the mind or stop thinking, as this goes against their natural mental processes. They often benefit more from mindfulness practices that acknowledge and work with their thinking tendencies, rather than trying to eliminate them entirely. The artistic and creative expressions of deep thinkers often reflect their complex inner worlds. Their art, writing, music, or other creative works might be characterized by layers of meaning, symbolic content, or explorations of abstract concepts. While this can result in profound and moving artistic expressions, it might also make their work less immediately accessible to broader audiences who prefer more straightforward artistic communication. Writing, in particular, serves as both an outlet and a tool for deep thinkers. The process of translating complex thoughts into words helps them clarify and organize their ideas. Many deep thinkers keep journals not just as records of events, but as spaces for exploring ideas and working through complex problems. Their writing style often reflects their thinking processes, with careful attention to nuance, qualification of statements, and exploration of multiple perspectives. The experience of aging brings unique considerations for deep thinkers. As they accumulate more life experiences and knowledge, their ability to see connections and patterns often increases, potentially leading to greater wisdom and insight. However, they might also become more aware of the limitations of knowledge and the complexity of existence, which can lead to either greater acceptance or increased existential anxiety. Health and wellness considerations for deep thinkers often center around managing the intensity of their mental processes. The constant activity of their minds can be mentally exhausting, making rest and relaxation particularly important. However, they might struggle to find activities that provide genuine mental rest while still feeling engaging and worthwhile. Physical exercise often becomes crucial not just for physical health, but as a way to balance intense mental activity with physical movement and potentially achieve states of flow that provide mental relief. The phenomenon of sensitivity in deep thinkers extends beyond emotional sensitivity to include sensory sensitivity as well. Many report being particularly affected by their physical environment, including lighting, noise levels, and even subtle changes in atmosphere. This sensitivity can be both a gift, allowing them to notice and appreciate subtle details that others miss, and a challenge, making them more vulnerable to overstimulation in busy or chaotic environments. Travel and new experiences often hold special appeal for deep thinkers, but not necessarily for the reasons that motivate others. While some people travel for relaxation or adventure, deep thinkers might be drawn to travel as a way to gain new perspectives, challenge their assumptions, or explore different ways of understanding the world. They often prefer slower, more immersive travel experiences that allow time for reflection and integration, rather than rapid tourism that covers many locations quickly. The spiritual dimensions of deep thinking deserve careful consideration. Many deep thinkers find themselves drawn to spiritual or philosophical exploration, not necessarily out of traditional religious conviction, but from a desire to understand fundamental questions about existence, meaning, and consciousness. They might explore various spiritual traditions, philosophical systems, or contemplative practices in their search for understanding, often creating individualized approaches to spirituality that incorporate elements from multiple sources. Financial considerations often reflect the value systems of deep thinkers. They might prioritize meaningful work over high salaries, choose to spend money on experiences or books rather than material possessions, or struggle with financial planning because they focus more on abstract values than concrete financial goals. Their approach to money often reflects their broader philosophy about what makes life worthwhile and meaningful. The concept of legacy takes on particular significance for many deep thinkers because they often see themselves as part of larger historical and social processes. They might be very concerned with the long-term impact of their actions and decisions. This perspective can inspire them to make choices based on their potential effects on future generations. But it can also create pressure to ensure that their lives have lasting significance. Seasonal affective patterns might be more pronounced in deep thinkers, not just due to changes in light exposure, but because they are more attuned to the symbolic and psychological significance of seasonal cycles. The introspective nature of winter might feel natural and welcome to them, while the energy and growth of spring might inspire new projects and explorations. The challenge of maintaining relationships across different levels of thinking depth creates ongoing social navigation difficulties. Deep thinkers often find themselves code switching between different types of conversation depending on their audience, which can feel inauthentic or exhausting. They might have different circles of relationships for different aspects of their lives, casual social connections for lighter interactions and deeper relationships for more meaningful exchanges. Conflict resolution among deep thinkers often involves extensive analysis of underlying causes, multiple perspectives, and long-term implications. While this thorough approach can lead to more lasting resolutions, it can also make simple conflicts more complex and time-consuming to resolve. They might have difficulty with relationships, where conflicts are resolved quickly without extensive discussion or analysis. The role of humor in the lives of deep thinkers often tends toward the intellectual, ironic, or absurdist. They might appreciate complex wordplay, philosophical jokes, or humor that comments on the human condition rather than simple entertainment. Their sense of humor often reflects their awareness of life's contradictions and complexities. Retirement and later life planning for deep thinkers might focus less on leisure activities and more on opportunities for continued learning, reflection, and contribution to understanding. They might be drawn to roles as mentors, teachers, or advisors, where they can share their accumulated wisdom and continue to explore complex questions. The therapeutic needs of deep thinkers often require approaches that honor their complexity and depth, rather than trying to simplify their experiences. Traditional cognitive behavioral approaches might feel superficial to individuals who naturally engage in sophisticated analysis of their thoughts and behaviors. They might benefit more from therapeutic approaches that explore existential questions, examine meaning and values, or provide space for philosophical exploration. Support systems for deep thinkers need to acknowledge and validate their unique ways of processing the world, while also providing practical assistance with the challenges their thinking style can create. This might include help with decision-making processes, strategies for managing analysis paralysis, or techniques for finding balance between depth and action. The educational needs of children who show signs of being deep thinkers require special consideration. Traditional educational approaches that emphasize quick answers and standardized responses might not serve these children well. They might benefit from educational environments that encourage questioning, provide time for thorough exploration of topics, and value depth of understanding over speed of completion. Career counseling for deep thinkers should take into account their need for meaningful work, their preference for thorough analysis over quick decision-making, and their tendency to see connections between disparate fields. They might thrive in careers that combine multiple disciplines or that allow for significant autonomy and time for reflection. As we conclude our exploration of the psychology of deep thinkers, it becomes clear that these individuals represent a crucial segment of human diversity. Their unique ways of processing information, experiencing emotions, and understanding the world contribute immensely to human knowledge, creativity, and wisdom. While their psychological makeup can present challenges in a world that often prioritizes speed and simplicity, their contributions to deeper understanding and meaningful progress make their presence invaluable. The key to supporting deep thinkers, whether they are ourselves, our family members, friends, or colleagues, lies in understanding and accepting their unique psychological makeup, rather than trying to change them to fit more conventional patterns. By creating environments and relationships that honor their need for depth, meaning, and thorough consideration, we can help deep thinkers thrive while benefiting from the insights and understanding they bring to our shared human experience. Understanding the psychology of deep thinkers ultimately enhances our appreciation for the rich diversity of human consciousness and the many different ways that individuals can contribute to our collective understanding of life, meaning, and existence. Their presence among us serves as a reminder that there are always deeper layers to explore, more complex connections to discover, and more profound questions to consider in our ongoing journey of human understanding.